Have you ever walked out of someone's life and secretly hoped they'd feel your absence, as if a part of their world had suddenly gone quiet? It's not about craving validation. It's about leaving a mark so profound that your silence speaks louder than words. Today, we'll uncover the art of making your absence echo in their minds long after you've stepped back. In relationships, many people believe that grand gestures or extravagant displays will secure someone's attention. However, true connection isn't built on theatrics or superficial tokens. It is created through authenticity, self-mastery, and the subtle power of restraint. Stoicism teaches us that true allure isn't about demanding a place in someone's life. It's about creating a magnetic pull that makes them want to return on their own. Imagine this. A sculptor doesn't shout at their marble to take shape. They chip away carefully, letting the essence of the statue emerge. In the same way, your actions, or lack thereof, can sculpt a lasting impression on someone's mind. It's about crafting a presence so impactful that your absence becomes impossible to ignore. In this guide, we'll walk you through 10 transformative strategies to master this skill. These aren't cheap tricks or manipulative tactics. They are grounded in timeless wisdom. We'll show you how to use thoughtful actions, measured words, and an unshakable sense of self-worth to weave your essence into their thoughts. When applied, these strategies will make your absence feel as meaningful, if not more so, than your presence. Stoic principles like self-control, emotional resilience, and living with purpose will serve as the foundation of this journey. These are not just tools for romance, but for forming deep and enduring connections that elevate both you and those around you. When you master the ability to step back without losing yourself, you not only gain respect, you also create space for others to realize your worth. Think of a candle in a dark room. It burns quietly, illuminating everything without asking for attention. But the moment it's extinguished, its absence is immediately felt, and the memory of its light lingers. This is the energy we aim to teach you to embody, subtle, profound, and unforgettable. So, if you're ready to stop chasing, stop begging, and start commanding respect through the quiet strength of your presence and absence, this is your moment. But don't stop here. Stay until the end of this video to unlock the most powerful strategy of all. It's a game changer, a revelation that will shift the way you approach every relationship. Before we dive in, make sure you subscribe to the channel, like this video, and press the bell icon to stay updated on every life-changing insight we share. Let's build a community of unstoppable, self-assured individuals. Finally, I want to hear from you in the comments below. Leave an affirmation. Type, "I am worthy to declare your confidence and commitment to valuing yourself." Remember, this is your journey to becoming unforgettable. Let's begin. Number 1. Be the flame, not the moth. When you're always available, texting, calling, or constantly reaching out, you risk being taken for granted. Think of it like the sun rising every morning. It's beautiful, it's essential, but because it's always there, we forget to marvel at it. Your constant presence can become like background noise, blending into their everyday life instead of standing out as something remarkable. Imagine a painter who never steps away from their canvas. They work tirelessly, but eventually they lose sight of their vision, unable to see the beauty they're creating. When the painter finally takes a break, walks outside, and returns with fresh eyes, the masterpiece they've been working on feels alive again. Relationships work the same way. Stepping back allows others to truly appreciate what they have, to miss the moments you bring, and to recognize the value of your presence. You might wonder, but if I step back, won't they forget me? Absence creates space, and space creates curiosity. It's like a favorite song that isn't played for weeks. When it finally comes on again, it feels fresh, exciting, and meaningful. If you're constantly there, it's harder for them to reflect on what makes you unique. By giving space, you don't just vanish, you create an opportunity for them to think about your impact and long for it. Stoicism teaches us to prioritize our growth, independence, and inner peace over the need for external validation. This isn't about playing games or withholding affection. It's about showing you value your time and expect others to value it too. When you focus on your passions, hobbies, and personal goals, you naturally demonstrate that your life is full and rich. This energy isn't just attractive, it's magnetic. People are drawn to those who radiate a sense of purpose and self-respect. Think of a campfire. If you sit too close for too long, the warmth becomes overwhelming, even uncomfortable. But step back just enough and it becomes inviting, something you want to move closer to again. That's the balance you create when you're not overly available. You allow space for them to reflect, for anticipation to build, and for your connection to strengthen. At this point, you might be asking, but doesn't this feel like I'm neglecting the relationship? Not at all. It's about creating healthy boundaries. It's not about ignoring them, it's about knowing when to engage and when to step back. Think of it as the natural rhythm of breathing, inhaling and exhaling. Both are essential. But if you hold your breath too long, the balance breaks. In relationships, your presence is the inhale and your absence is the exhale. Both need to exist for the connection to feel alive. This isn't about manipulating someone to chase you. It's about honoring yourself and the relationship by maintaining your individuality. When you allow yourself to step back, you let your actions and energy speak louder than constant words. This makes your presence feel special, not routine. It's not about being hard to reach. It's about being someone who carries a depth that others value deeply when they have the chance to experience it. So take a step back every now and then. Let your life unfold naturally, like a river flowing at its own pace. Give them the chance to feel the stillness when you're not around and the warmth when you return. This balance doesn't just make them miss you, it enhances the quality of your relationship, making every interaction more meaningful. Most importantly, it's not just about them, it's about becoming someone who is fulfilled, confident, and worth cherishing, because that's the kind of person they'll remember, even in your absence. Number 2, stop running toward shadows. Picture this. You get a simple hey or a casual emoji from someone you're drawn to. Your first instinct might be to reply immediately, hoping to keep the conversation alive. But stop for a moment and think, what are you signaling by jumping at every crumb of attention? It's like running toward a shadow that keeps slipping away the closer you get. True connection isn't built on chasing, it's built on presence, confidence, and restraint. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This wisdom applies perfectly here. Stoicism teaches us to resist fleeting impulses, to master our emotions, and to stay grounded in our own worth. When you respond instantly to every message, you send a subtle but clear message that you're waiting, that your attention is readily available, and what's easily available is often undervalued. Think of this in terms of a rare flower. When it blooms everywhere, it's beautiful, yes, but common. But when it only blossoms in specific seasons or places, people go out of their way to experience it. Your attention works the same way. If it's constant and immediate, it becomes expected rather than appreciated. If you make it clear through your actions that your life is full and doesn't revolve around someone's casual check-ins, your presence becomes something to earn, not something assumed. You might wonder, but if I don't reply right away, won't they lose interest? That fear is natural, but here's the truth. Someone who values you will be intrigued by your focus and self-control. It's not about ignoring them. It's about setting a rhythm that prioritizes your time and energy. Imagine being in the middle of a project that excites you and a message comes through. Instead of dropping everything to reply, you finish your task first. This small act of discipline says so much more than words ever could. It shows that you respect your priorities and that your life is vibrant and meaningful with or without their message. Let's put it another way. Think of a door that's always open. It doesn't create anticipation. There's no sense of effort required to step inside. But a door that opens occasionally, inviting you in at the right moments, carries an air of mystery and allure. Your attention, when given with purpose, becomes like that door, valuable, deliberate, and deeply appreciated. At this point, you might be asking, isn't this just playing games? No, it's about shifting your focus inward rather than outward. This isn't manipulation, it's elevation. You're showing that your life isn't dictated by external validation. You're centered in your own purpose, and that quiet confidence speaks louder than any instant reply ever could. Over time, they'll notice the difference. When you do respond, your words will carry more weight, and your presence will feel more significant. You're teaching them, without saying it outright, that your time and attention are precious. And when people realize that, they naturally start to put in more effort, valuing the connection instead of taking it for granted. So resist the urge to chase. Instead, step back and invest in yourself. The irony is that the less you chase, the more they'll be drawn to you. It's in this balance of knowing your worth, focusing on your growth, and engaging on your terms that you shift the dynamic. You're no longer chasing shadows. You're standing still, letting the light come to you. And that's how true connection is built. Number 3. Be a puzzle they can't solve. There's something magnetic about mystery. When people can't figure you out completely, their curiosity pulls them in like gravity. Stoicism teaches us the value of restraint, not just in emotions, but also in how much of ourselves we reveal. The unknown is powerful, and when you cultivate an aura of enigma, you spark a desire in others to discover the parts of you that remain hidden. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The more we value things outside our control, the less control we have." This applies perfectly to how you present yourself. If you give away everything at once, your stories, emotions, and thoughts, you surrender the intrigue that naturally draws people in. On the other hand, when you reveal yourself piece by piece, like unveiling parts of a puzzle, you keep them engaged and curious, always wanting to know more. Imagine meeting someone for the first time and they pour their entire life story into the conversation. It might feel overwhelming or even boring. Now think about someone who shares only fragments, leaving out just enough to make you wonder. Maybe they say, "Today was unforgettable," without offering details. That simple statement becomes a hook you can't help but ask about. Why? What happened? Their restraint pulls you in, creating anticipation. You become the one leaning forward, eager to know more. Mystery is not about manipulation, it's about control. You're controlling the narrative of your story, revealing it in layers. It's like reading a novel. If the first chapter spoils the entire plot, why keep reading? But when each chapter offers a revelation, a twist, or an unanswered question, you can't put the book down. You want to reach the end, but at the same time, you savor the journey. You might ask, but won't withholding make me seem distant or cold? Not if you balance it with warmth and presence. It's not about shutting people out. It's about inviting them in gradually. By controlling how much you share, you make every interaction feel like an adventure. They don't just get to know you, they discover you. Imagine walking through a garden. If all the flowers are in full bloom at once, it's breathtaking, but after a while, it loses its charm. Now imagine a garden where new flowers bloom each time you visit. Every walk feels fresh and exciting, like there's always something new waiting to be uncovered. That's the effect you create when you cultivate an air of mystery. You might wonder, how do I actually apply this? Start small. When someone asks about your day, resist the urge to spill every detail. Instead, give them a glimpse. It was unexpected, but it turned out better than I thought. Let their curiosity do the rest. The key is to leave breadcrumbs, not the whole loaf. Each piece they discover feels earned, making the connection more meaningful. This approach aligns perfectly with Stoic principles. By practicing restraint, you maintain control over how much of yourself you give to others. This isn't about playing games, it's about preserving your energy and ensuring that every part of you shared is valued. You're teaching them to appreciate the process, to savor the connection instead of rushing through it. Over time, this subtle air of enigma makes you unforgettable. You become someone they think about long after the conversation ends, someone whose personality feels like a treasure chest, each interaction revealing a new gem. And the more they discover, the more they'll realize there's so much more to explore. So embrace the unknown. Let them wonder. Let them lean in closer. Because when they can't solve the puzzle of who you are, they'll keep coming back, drawn to the depth and intrigue you bring into their world. Number 4, be the chapter they can't wait to read. Every interaction you have has the potential to leave an imprint, but the real art lies in knowing when to step away while the energy is still high and the connection feels electric. This is how you leave them craving more. Stoicism teaches us the value of quality over quantity, and this principle applies to your relationships. It's not about how often you connect, but how deeply and memorably you engage when you do. Think of a beautifully written novel. The best chapters end with just enough intrigue to keep you turning the pages, yet they don't reveal everything. Conversations and connections should feel the same. If you exhaust every topic or linger too long, the excitement fades, and the interaction risks becoming forgettable. But if you leave while there's still curiosity, you stay in their minds like an unfinished melody they can't get out of their heads. Imagine you're in the middle of an engaging conversation about a shared interest, maybe a film you both loved, or a thought-provoking idea. Instead of diving into every detail, pause at the height of the discussion. You might say, "I've got a theory about that, but I'll save it for next time." It might change how you see the whole thing. That simple strategic pause creates anticipation. You've given them a reason to look forward to your next interaction. At this point, you might wonder, won't they think I'm cutting them off? What you're doing is creating space. When you leave something unsaid, you give them time to reflect, to think about you, and to imagine what's coming next. It's like a TV series that ends each episode with a cliffhanger. You can't help but anticipate the next one because the story feels incomplete. Let's use another example. Picture a chef who serves the perfect meal, not too little, not too much. The flavors linger just long enough to make you want more. But if the meal is overwhelming, you leave feeling stuffed, not satisfied. Your presence works the same way. It's about finding that balance, enough to spark a connection, but not so much that it becomes predictable. You might ask, how do I know when to step away? The key is to pay attention. When the conversation is vibrant and the energy is high, that's the perfect moment to end it on a high note. It takes restraint and awareness, but it shows that you value their time as much as your own. By stepping away at the right moment, you ensure they'll look forward to the next encounter, keeping the connection fresh and alive. This approach isn't about manipulation. It's about preserving the richness of your interactions. When you consistently leave them wanting more, you demonstrate self-control and wisdom, qualities that align perfectly with Stoic values. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, waste no more time arguing about what a good person should be. Be one. Being mindful of how you engage with others is a reflection of that principle. By applying this strategy, you elevate your relationships. Your presence becomes something they value, not just something they expect. Every conversation feels like a treasure, and your absence becomes a gap they notice. It's not about making them miss you out of frustration. It's about making them miss the spark you bring to their lives. So focus on making each interaction meaningful. Leave them with something to think about, something to look forward to. Be the chapter they can't wait to read, the melody that lingers in their minds. When you master this, you don't just build relationships. You create connections that are deeply appreciated and impossible to forget. Number 5. Be the chapter they wish they didn't close. Sometimes, the most powerful way to make someone yearn for your presence is to show them the beauty of a life they no longer get to share. Stoicism teaches us that emotions are a natural part of the human experience, and when understood, they can be channeled into something meaningful. Longing isn't about manipulation or deceit. It's about letting your authentic joy and growth quietly remind others of what they're missing. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." By focusing on living well and engaging deeply with your own life, you naturally create an aura of fulfillment. This isn't about provoking jealousy. It's about embodying the kind of richness that others can't help but notice. In their absence from it, they may feel a quiet longing. Picture this. You're volunteering at a community event, fully immersed in a project that lights up your spirit. You're not sharing this experience to boast or seek validation, but to genuinely express your involvement and joy. A photo or a story from that moment becomes more than just an update. It becomes a subtle reminder of the depth and warmth you bring to life. It's not what you say, it's what they feel when they see you thriving. They can't help but remember the energy, calm and depth you once added to their lives. You might wonder, isn't this just about making them jealous? This isn't about stirring envy. It's about demonstrating the peaceful and fulfilling life you're leading. Think of it as holding up a mirror. When they see the joy, calm and growth in your reflection, it might make them question what they lost, not because you're trying to hurt them, but because you're simply living in alignment with your values, and that's undeniably magnetic. Imagine your life as a serene lake. When someone walks away, they may not immediately notice what they've left behind, but as time passes, they'll start to miss the stillness, the clarity, and the reflection they found in your presence. This quiet recognition isn't forced. It's inspired by the way you live. What if they think you're showing off? The answer is simple. Authenticity is your foundation. When your actions stem from genuine joy and self-growth, it becomes clear that you're not trying to impress anyone. People are drawn to what feels real. They're not longing for you because of flashy displays or exaggerated moments. They're drawn to the peace, fulfillment, and depth you naturally exude. You might also ask, but what if they don't notice at all? That's where Stoicism offers another important principle. Focus on what you can control. You can't force someone to see your value, but you can ensure that your life reflects it. As Epictetus said, don't explain your philosophy, embody it. Your happiness isn't dependent on their recognition. It's rooted in your own growth and serenity. Whether they notice or not, you remain centered and whole. Over time, as they see your consistent engagement with life, a quiet longing may arise within them. Not because you're manipulating their emotions, but because your presence once brought something rare, calm, depth, and genuine connection. When they recognize that, it's not about regret, it's about appreciation. In that longing, they're reminded that your value isn't tied to proximity. It's tied to the richness of who you are. Live as if you are the chapter they didn't finish, the one they keep thinking about long after they've set the book down, not because you asked them to, but because your life speaks louder than words ever could. Number 6, be the flame that warms, not the fire that burns. Charisma isn't about stealing the spotlight or being the loudest voice in the room. True charisma, seen through a Stoic lens, is about presence, the kind that makes others feel valued, seen, and understood. Imagine being at a gathering, not as someone who dominates conversations, but as someone who listens with intent, speaks with purpose, and leaves others feeling better than when they arrived. That's the essence of charisma, making people feel the light of your presence without ever casting shadows on theirs. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." When your thoughts are rooted in calm self-assurance, your confidence radiates naturally. Stoicism teaches us that true confidence doesn't need to announce itself. It's not about seeking validation from others. It's about knowing your worth without needing anyone else to confirm it. When you embody this quiet strength, it becomes magnetic. People are drawn to you not because you demand attention, but because your presence speaks for itself. Think of confidence. Like a sturdy oak tree in a storm, the wind may whip and howl, but the tree stands, rooted in the earth. It doesn't waver, it doesn't panic. It simply remains. In moments of challenge, when others feel unsure or shaken, your calm and composed demeanor can provide a sense of stability. This type of confidence isn't loud or boastful. It's the kind that offers comfort and inspires trust. Even in your absence, the memory of that stability lingers, making others long for your presence again. You might ask, how do I embody this kind of charisma and confidence without feeling like I'm trying too hard? The key lies in authenticity. Charisma isn't about impressing others, it's about connecting with them. When you genuinely listen, show interest, and offer thoughtful responses, people feel valued. It's like walking into a room and bringing a warm breeze instead of a gusty storm. People don't just hear you, they feel you. Imagine having a conversation with someone who looks you in the eye, remembers the details of your stories, and responds in ways that make you feel understood. You'd leave that interaction feeling lighter, wouldn't you? That's the impact you can have when you combine charisma with confidence. It's not about dazzling, it's about making your presence unforgettable through its sincerity and depth. What if you're naturally more reserved? Does that mean you lack charisma? Absolutely not. In fact, some of the most charismatic people are those who speak less, but say more. Think of the moon. It doesn't outshine the sun, yet its quiet glow commands attention in the night sky. Your calm demeanor, combined with thoughtful actions and words, can leave a stronger impression than loud, fleeting gestures ever could. You might also wonder, what if they don't notice? That's the beauty of Stoicism. It teaches us that our focus should be on our actions, not the results. Epictetus reminds us, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. By embodying confidence and charisma, you're not just creating an impression on others, you're aligning with your own values and becoming someone you admire. Whether they notice or not becomes secondary to the sense of fulfillment you gain by living this way. When you combine charisma and confidence, you create a presence that is both comforting and inspiring. You become the person others look forward to seeing, not because you demand their attention, but because being around you feels good. And when you're not there, your absence feels like missing a spark that once brought light. Live as someone whose presence brings warmth, not just heat. Be the kind of person they think about long after you're gone, not because of what you said or did, but because of how you made them feel. That's the kind of confidence and charisma that leaves an indelible mark. Number 7. Be the adventure they can't forget. Showing your true self isn't just about being authentic. It's about embracing your wholeness and letting it shine through every interaction. Stoicism reminds us of the principle of self-sufficiency. Your value isn't tied to someone else's presence in your life. When you fully embrace who you are, you naturally become someone they think about and miss. Not because they complete you, but because your energy and individuality inspire them. Picture a life filled with passions and pursuits that light you up. Maybe you're learning to play an instrument, experimenting with painting, or challenging yourself with a new language. These aren't just hobbies. They're the threads that weave the fabric of your vibrant life. When you share these pieces of yourself, you're not just talking about what you do, you're offering a glimpse into the kind of person you are, curious, fulfilled, and constantly growing. Marcus Aurelius said, "Dwell on the beauty of life, watch the stars, and see yourself running with them." This is what showing your true self feels like, living fully and inviting others to witness your joy. Imagine telling someone about your weekend spent hiking with friends or discovering a local workshop that sparked your curiosity. You're not bragging or seeking validation. You're simply showing that your life is abundant, that you thrive regardless of who's in your orbit. You might wonder, won't this make me seem distant? Quite the opposite. When you're deeply connected to your own life, it makes your presence magnetic. People are naturally drawn to someone who lives with purpose and enthusiasm. Your independence isn't about creating distance. It's about inspiring connection. They'll want to be part of your adventures, not because they feel excluded, but because they see how special those moments are with you. Think of a candle lighting up a room. Its flame doesn't demand attention. It simply burns, illuminating everything around it. That's the kind of energy you bring when you live authentically. Your joy, curiosity, and growth create a warmth that people notice. Even in your absence, they don't just miss you, they miss the way you make life feel brighter. At this point, you might ask, but what if they don't care about my interests? The truth is, Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control. Your goal isn't to make someone like everything you do. It's to live so fully and authentically that their appreciation becomes a natural response. As Epictetus said, know first who you are and then adorn yourself accordingly. When you live aligned with your true self, the right people will naturally be drawn to you. Sharing your life isn't about overshadowing theirs. It's about creating balance. You appreciate their presence without depending on it. When you share your experiences, you're inviting them into your world, not demanding they complete it. This approach fosters a meaningful connection between two whole individuals, people who enrich each other's lives instead of filling a void. By embodying this mindset, you subtly evoke a sense of longing. They'll think about your laughter, your stories, and the energy you bring into their lives, not because they feel obligated, but because they truly value what you offer. Your presence becomes a reminder of what it feels like to be around someone who is fully alive, someone they want to experience more of. So live your life boldly. Be the adventure they can't forget, the person whose authenticity leaves an indelible mark. When you embrace your true self and share it unapologetically, you create connections that are meaningful, memorable, and deeply missed when you're not around. Number 8. Be the calm in their storm. Self-care might seem like a simple concept, but when you view it through a Stoic lens, it transforms into a profound act of respect for yourself. Stoicism teaches us that the body is the vessel for the rational mind, and taking care of it isn't just practical. It's essential for cultivating discipline and inner peace. By focusing on self-care and personal development, you not only grow as an individual, but you naturally become someone others admire and miss in your absence. Imagine this. You prioritize regular exercise, not just to look good, but to build determination and mental strength. Each workout becomes a reminder that you're capable of pushing through challenges. Eating nourishing foods and getting enough rest isn't just about physical health. It's a reflection of how much you value yourself. These habits show the world that you honor the vessel that carries your mind and spirit, and that quiet confidence draws people in. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Incorporating mindfulness into your daily life aligns perfectly with this wisdom. Imagine sitting quietly, observing your thoughts and feelings without judgment, like watching clouds pass in the sky. This practice calms your mind, helping you focus on what you can control while letting go of what you can't. When you radiate this sense of tranquility, people notice. They're drawn to the serenity you bring into any space. And when you're not there, that calm presence is deeply missed. Personal growth is another cornerstone of self-care that aligns with Stoic principles. Whether you're learning a new language, mastering a skill, or setting meaningful goals, these actions reflect a vibrant and evolving spirit. Picture someone who's always exploring new ideas, sharing fresh perspectives, and inspiring those around them. That's the kind of energy you cultivate when you invest in your own growth. You might wonder, what's the point of focusing so much on myself? Isn't that selfish? Far from it. When you invest in your well-being and development, you naturally add value to every interaction. Think of a well that's constantly replenished. It doesn't run dry, and it provides nourishment for everyone who approaches it. By prioritizing self-care and personal growth, you're ensuring that you have the energy, insight, and joy to share with others. Imagine telling someone about a new skill you've been working on or an exciting book you just finished. Your enthusiasm becomes contagious. People begin to associate you with positivity, inspiration, and a sense of forward momentum. Even when you're not around, the energy you brought into their lives lingers, leaving them longing for your presence again. Some might question, what if people don't notice or care about the changes I make? Stoicism reminds us to focus on what we can control, our actions, not others' reactions. Epictetus said, "Don't explain your philosophy, embody it." The goal isn't to seek recognition, but to live in alignment with your values. When you live authentically and invest in yourself, the right people will notice. And even if they don't, the rewards of your growth are yours to keep. By dedicating yourself to self-care and personal growth, you embody the Stoic ideal of resilience and self-sufficiency. Your presence becomes a source of calm, inspiration, and motivation. People will remember the joy, insight, and encouragement you bring into their lives. You'll leave an indelible mark, not through grand gestures, but through the quiet, steady strength of someone who truly values themselves. So be the calm in their storm, the well they return to for wisdom and warmth. When you live in alignment with these principles, your presence becomes unforgettable, and your absence is deeply felt, not out of need, but out of genuine appreciation for the person you are. Number 9. Be the anchor they didn't know they needed. In relationships, one of the most powerful ways to leave a lasting impression is by being a genuine source of support and understanding. Stoicism teaches us that true strength lies not in grand gestures, but in quiet, consistent presence. By becoming a steady force in their lives, you show a type of care that goes deeper than words, a care that resonates long after you're gone. Imagine this. They've had a tough day, and they confide in you about their struggles. The natural urge might be to jump in with solutions or try to fix everything. But sometimes, The greatest gift you can offer is simply to listen. Marcus Aurelius said, "You always own the option of having no opinion." There is never any need to get worked up or to trouble your soul. By holding space for their thoughts without judgment or interruption, you show that you value their feelings and trust their ability to navigate their challenges. Think of yourself as a calm harbor in the middle of a storm. When their world feels chaotic, your steady presence becomes a refuge, not because you take away their struggles, but because you remind them that they're not alone. This kind of quiet support isn't just comforting, it's empowering. It tells them, "I believe in your strength," without needing to say it outright. You might wonder, how do I offer support without losing myself in their problems? This is where Stoicism's wisdom becomes essential. Supporting someone doesn't mean absorbing their pain or letting their issues consume you. Epictetus reminds us, "It is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." You can be present for them while maintaining your own peace and boundaries. When you balance empathy with self-care, you offer genuine support without depleting your emotional reserves. Picture this balance as a tree with deep roots. The tree provides shade and shelter to those who need it, but its roots remain firmly planted in the earth. It doesn't bend or break under the weight of others. That's the kind of support Stoicism encourages you to embody, strong, grounded, and unshaken. You might also ask, will they see me as a crutch if I'm always there for them? Not if your presence inspires growth. Being supportive isn't about making someone dependent on you, it's about encouraging their independence while being a reliable source of comfort. Imagine telling them, "I'm here for you, but I trust that you've got this." Those words carry power. They don't just lean on your strength, they're reminded of their own. Over time, this steadfast support creates something rare, a bond built on mutual respect and trust. You're not just someone they confide in, you become a source of calm in their lives, someone they admire for your strength and serenity. Even when you're apart, they'll think of the balance you brought to their world, the way you made life feel less overwhelming and more manageable. What if they don't acknowledge your efforts? That's where Stoicism reminds us to focus on what we can control, our actions, not their reactions. By embodying kindness and understanding, you're not just building a connection with them, you're living in alignment with your own values. Whether or not they express gratitude, you can find peace in knowing you've offered something meaningful. Be the anchor that steadies their ship, the calm they return to when life gets turbulent. By showing genuine support without losing yourself, you become unforgettable. Your presence will be missed, not because they need you to survive, but because they value the strength, peace, and understanding you bring into their lives. And that kind of connection is impossible to replace. Number 10, be the memory they can't let go of. To make someone truly miss you, you must create moments that linger long after you're gone. This isn't just about spending time together. It's about crafting meaningful experiences that leave an indelible mark. Stoicism teaches us the importance of living fully in the present, savoring every moment for what it is. By embracing this principle, you create a tapestry of memories that draw them back to you, not out of need, but out of longing. Imagine a single drop of rain hitting still water, creating ripples that extend far beyond the initial splash. Shared experiences work the same way. Whether it's a spontaneous road trip, an afternoon trying something new, or even a quiet evening filled with deep conversation, these moments become part of the connection you share. They're not just activities, they're stories, emotions, and memories woven into your bond. Think of this. You plan a day exploring a new city, wandering through streets filled with surprises, tasting local food, and exchanging thoughts about the little discoveries along the way. The laughter, the shared glances, the feeling of togetherness. These become the kind of memories that don't fade even in your absence. Those moments linger like a favorite song that replays in their minds, carrying the warmth of your presence. You might wonder, do these moments have to be extravagant to matter? Absolutely not. The simplest experiences often carry the most weight. Picture a quiet evening at home, sitting together and dreaming about the future. No grand plans, no elaborate gestures, just the comfort of being present, fully immersed in the moment. That kind of intimacy creates a depth that's hard to replace. Stoicism reminds us to focus on what we can control and to find joy in life's simplest pleasures. Marcus Aurelius said, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a privilege it is to be alive, to think, to enjoy, to love." This perspective is key. By valuing the moments you share and being intentional about them, you show that your time together matters deeply, and when time is treasured, its absence is felt even more. You might ask, what if they don't remember these moments as vividly as I do? Stoicism encourages us not to dwell on outcomes beyond our control. Your focus should be on creating and fully experiencing these moments, not on how they're perceived. As Epictetus said, "He who is not happy with little will never be happy with much." When you pour your energy into meaningful connections, those memories naturally carry weight, whether they voice it or not. Over time, shared experiences form the foundation of a bond that feels unique. They'll think of the way you laughed during a certain conversation or the unexpected adventure you had together. It's not about what you did, it's about how you made them feel. The joy, the connection, the sense of being fully alive in those moments. That's what makes them miss you. When you live fully in the present and prioritize meaningful experiences, you show them that your time together is valuable, not just fleeting. You're not creating dependency, you're creating appreciation. Even the simplest gestures, when done with intention, leave behind something priceless. The memory of someone who made their life feel richer, even in the smallest ways. Be the memory that stays with them. The moment they revisit when they think about connection truly feels like. Whether it's the sound of your laughter, the spark of a shared idea, or the comfort of your presence, you become someone they don't just think about, they yearn to experience again. Live fully, share intentionally, and let your time together be unforgettable. In conclusion, mastering the art of absence is about balance, authenticity, and intentionality. By embodying these principles, you create a presence that resonates long after you're gone. You make your absence felt not as a void, but as a reminder of the depth and richness you bring into their lives. Remember, it's not just about being present. It's about being memorable, impactful, and unforgettable. Embrace this journey and watch as your relationships deepen and flourish in ways you never thought possible.